Hey Backseaters, it's producer Steven here. We're having a classic episode today because Dustin had a pretty crazy week and he wasn't able to record. So we're pulling this one out of the vault. We hope you enjoy it. Next week we'll have a brand new episode for you. But in the meantime, go to his website, dustinnickerson.com. Check out his Patreon. And also don't forget to order his book, How to Be Married to Melissa, available wherever books are sold and also as an audiobook on Amazon.com. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Hey everybody, welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I am a stand-up. I kind of did my own bit there for a second. Stand-up comedian and the host of the aforementioned podcast. And alongside me in the southwest corner of our recording studio / our daughter's bedroom is my lovely wife, Melissa Nickerson. We are in beanbags and study buddies, drinking iced oat milk lattes. And I just don't know that there is a thing that could encapsulate us more than this moment of drinking kind of a high-end douchey drink, and while sitting
in a low end
in beanbags of our rental home, and I just pulled off cat hair off my microphone, my podcast
that's
microphone.
cat hair or Claire's hair.
So this is our life. This right here is a nice little encapsulation of what our family looks like. So thank you everybody
our family values
for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. We hope you had a lovely 4th. And we're going to talk about the 4th today. We're going to do a 4th recap. We're going to talk about kind of just some summer stuff like the 4th of July and baseball games. Those are the two things I'm going to tell you right now. Unlikely that I stay on topic.
That's what we're shooting for.
We're shooting for. These are our goals, but goals, as the old saying goes, are made to be broken.
Okay.
Is that a saying? That is not a saying. Rules are made to be broken. But before we get going, I do want to say, if you guys want to come to a show, that's great. And if you would like to meet me at a show, like a little pre-show, let me tell you how to do that. You got to become a Patreon. You would have already met me via Zoom, whether via Zoom Hang, if you're 10 and up. Where's that everyone get that? Does everyone get that?
10 and up.
10 and up, get that one right there. And if you're not familiar with Patreon, it's very simple. You just give a little more, you get a little more to Dustin Nickerson Comedy. You go to patreon.com/Dustin Nickerson. You get merch. You get some merch discount codes. You get meet and greets at shows. You get content early. I think that
cameo
video. You get the Nickerson family Christmas card, all depending what level you sign up. So you guys are going to want to go to patreon.com and check out Dustin Nickerson Comedy. And then you can do a meet and greet at shows. Melissa and I today acted like the year was 2004, and we went to a Barnes & Noble that we followed up with a trip to a Panera Bread. The year was 2004. Ruben Studdard had just won American Idol. I don't know who. I couldn't tell you the years on those.
Right.
We were getting married. Year 2004. Yeah. First year of marriage. What it was is we had to go to Barnes & Noble because we had to look at some book covers. You can speculate on why we may or may not have been looking at book covers. That's between you and your God. We were looking at book covers, and we were like, we should get some food. We're here. And we went to Panera Bread. And if you've never been to a Panera Bread at noon, which I've been to Panera Bread a lot at noon because that's when I go, is when I'm on the road.
That's when you work.
Yeah, it's when I work. That's a little road comfort. I don't get to be with my wife or my children, so I get to be with my Panera, which I think is the name of the accounts there. I have a My Panera account.
You get a free bagel.
Not only did we get a free bagel, it expired today, which was funny when she said that your bagel, it sounded like the bagel was expiring, but my reward was expiring.
She's like, do you want to cash in this bagel? It expires today.
It's hard to communicate with someone that they're like, so you come here enough that you have a rewards program, but you have you're not tracking your rewards in any way. And what I didn't have the heart to tell her is I don't have it in me to cash in a Panera award when I'm by myself. I don't.
You're not like, woo!
It makes sadder is what it does. Because Panera by yourself, already a bummer. Because as we saw today, it's all 75-year-old couples.
Yes.
We were the youngest people in there by 40 years.
Yeah, there was one grandma with a grandchild. and that was about it.
Correct. Yeah, we
They
were
could rename it the Senior Social Club or something.
and not as catchy as Panera, the Senior Social Club.
Yeah.
But you are right.
Mm-hmm.
We were in.
If you want to talk to old people, go to Panera.
We were the exact median age between grandkid and grandma.
Yeah.
We were right dab in the middle.
Generation.
We were and people love Panera there. They love it. I had a guy tell me as I was getting some water, just out of nowhere, he goes.
He was chatty.
He was so chatty. He was chatting with everyone. He goes, you just can't beat this place. And I thought, you can beat this place. You can't beat this place in this mall now.
No, you can't in that mall.
In this mall, there is not a better option.
Yeah.
But in the parking lot of this mall, there's a BJ's. BJ's is better than this. I like Panera.
Yeah, there's what's the Long John Silver's? No.
There's a Red Lobster.
Red Lobster.
There's a Red Lobster. Red Lobster would be
cheddar biscuits. That's a thing.
I have not eaten in Red Lobster.
I haven't either.
Ever? I don't know if I ever have.
I have heard people talk about
the cheddar biscuits.
That's all I can say on that.
I will say my favorite part about the South, biscuits. Big fan of biscuits in the South.
Sure.
So
back to Panera.
Back to Panera. We were living it up. We were kind of living the dream, and you know, we're back here. We're ready to do the pod. But what we want to talk about today is first off, we want to give you guys an update on 4th, talk a little bit about 4th of July. We have some emails at the end. We just want to talk about summer activities kind of in general and what our family is up to. And, also, I mean, guys, there's no easy way to say this, but we did get invited to the barbecue. We did get to go to Steven's. Well, not Steven's. Steven's parents. We made it to the English family barbecue for the 4th of July, you guys.
Yeah.
Our family, I think...
We've reached top level status.
5 out of 4, or at least 3 out of 5 on the way home said best 4th of July ever.
Nice.
I didn't hear you make that, but you're not one to make those kind of statements.
No, it was great 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By 3 out of the 5, I mean all 3 kids.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I missed
Big
that.
fans.
Nice.
Big fans. Guys, Dorothy was on the grill. Steven was there. He was a presence.
He's a great hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a fantastic time. It was everything that we wanted and more out of a 4th of July party. And this is okay. This came up as a debate, and I want to hear your guys' takes on this. So please shoot us emails at dontmakemecomebackthere at gmail.com.
Yeah.
We could see some fireworks in the distance. Nobody needed them.
Yeah, we were having so much fun. We didn't need fireworks.
Where are you at, Melissa? I would like you to join me on the pod at any point now.
Okay. Sorry, I got a text from the neighbor.
Melissa
it sent me off.
Melissa's been out of this for 5 minutes. I just gave her
here's the
I gave you some nonverbals. And now I have to call you out on the pod. Which is just come join me anytime.
I wanted to do it this afternoon.
I know.
And we went hiking. And I was like, no, I'll have more energy this afternoon.
So now you're just not doing it this evening. Melissa, we put you on the logo. If you're going to be on the logo, you're going to have
to try.
You're going to have to not zone out. We have the only dual podcast where one of the podcasters every so often, like every 10 minutes, is gone. I mean, you are elsewhere. You're doing like yahas, but I mean, I'm looking at you and I can't get you to contribute to anything I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Okay.
But it adds charm to the podcast. I just have to not force it.
It was a great party.
We're just going to affectionately call it like Mel's La La Land. And you're just elsewhere. You're gone now. No, but let's deal with that. What the neighbor text? Let's deal with this. Because this is what you clearly want to talk about. I wanted to talk about baseball on the 4th of July, but Melissa got a text. So
thanks for taking out the trash. I'll try to remember for next Monday.
Try to remember what?
to help with the trashes, I guess.
Oh, no. That's our job.
Do y'all like Mexican candy?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a new neighbor.
Yeah.
And she moved in. There's some hot takes on the pronunciation of her name. We haven't seen Elisa, not Eliza.
It kind of looks like Eliza.
Okay, but pronounced Elisa. Elisa moved in. Elisa.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like an e-cigarette. Elisa.
Yep.
She
like
is
the Mona Lisa.
She's the electronic Lisa.
There it is. Yep.
So you're gonna email Elisa.
You still have to meet her
on your Ether. I got nothing. I have not met her, and I think I saw her. I mean, I know I saw her. I saw a woman walking, but I appreciated that she didn't seek out meeting me, and I thought this might be my new favorite neighbor.
So you're never gonna meet?
Oh, speaking of neighbors at Panera Bread,
guys, we went to this mall twice this weekend.
This mall, which is our low-end mall, it's just our nearby mall. And this happens with malls. Malls have a life, and malls are dying.
It had its heyday in the 80s.
It's not
90s.
a great mall, but it's convenient, and it has a couple things we needed. We were going to the theater. We went to the theater on Saturday with Joel and Claire.
Yep.
Gloria was
at a birthday party.
And we're like, okay, so we need to do a couple things before. Both our kids needed a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
We got one of them a pair of shoes because let's go to Macy's. I don't know why we thought for 1 second Macy's would have shoes, but they
had like one shelf.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So went to Famous Footwear, got Claire some shoes. Now at the Bath and Body Works, we saw our neighbor Dawn. Dawn is 78,
maybe 79.
Now I saw it was Dawn. We have never seen Dawn out of context.
Yes, we've never seen in his yard.
We've never seen Dawn not as our neighbor. I haven't seen Dawn with a shirt on a lot in my life. He's
usually shirtless,
and he's usually working so hard. He's painting trim.
Everything is white.
He's cleaning his garage floor.
The garage.
He's mowing his lawn.
Yes.
Now I saw Dawn outside of the Bath and Body Works. I did not say anything because, for one reason, I didn't need to talk to Dawn. Dawn and I, in 10 years of being neighbors, have exchanged 100 words max, and 2 of them happen at the same time every year when I'm putting up the Christmas lights.
Yes.
And he comes outside and he goes, "Santa Claus," and that's it. This is a Christmas tradition. That's it. And then I'll talk to him 3 months later. And usually it's like, we're going to Vegas. Now.
Yeah, they go to Vegas.
Dawn is, now, I didn't know if it was him. I also didn't need to talk to him. He didn't need to talk to me. He's wearing a hat. Never seen him wear a hat. Apparently, Dawn wears a hat when he goes out. But also, Dawn has an identical twin brother.
Yes. And we've seen him as well.
And been very confused and started conversation with him. And that has to happen, especially when you're in your twin brother's home.
Yeah.
The neighbors might think. But I'm telling you, it's crazy to me that 78-year-olds could still look alike.
They do.
They look so much alike. Their wrinkles have came in the same way.
Yeah.
Their 78-year-old skin tags and sags, they came out the same way.
Well, Don recently had a face surgery.
Oh, the skin cancer thing? Or?
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Probably.
So anyways, the Botox he got.
He had a big patch on his face.
Don is very vain and full nose. He got a new nose. His nose is 8 months old.
He didn't want to match his brother anymore.
He didn't want to match his brother. He went very small. With very small nose, just a tiny little thimble of a nose. And I saw, and if we were like, okay, well, I'm not gonna say hi. And then as we leave Famous Footwear. Right next to us is the Bath and Body Works. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whichever one it is. We see MJ. MJ is unmistakable. You know MJ when you see her.
Yep.
And when you see MJ, you lose a half an hour.
Yes.
And
we've got a bunch of new neighbors, so maybe 45 minutes.
Our family, you would think that we were we were trying to qualify for the Olympics. We ran so fast from the famous footwear.
We darted to the food court.
Through the food court. We took a shortcut through the food court to get to Macy's to get to our car. And we told our kids, don't look back.
Just go.
So we avoided her.
We were running late.
And then we made it to the theater. And it was a fine show. And I don't remember how we got there for them, but all these trips to the mall.
This was back at the mall.
Peter Pan.
Yeah.
We saw Peter Pan. It was fine. It was a little slow. It was we were a little tired from all that, and then I was like, the first time I felt bad because the first time I looked at my phone to check the time, I was like, oh my gosh, they're still in the bedroom. Like
the nursery.
We're still in the nursery scene. We haven't even gotten to Neverland yet, but we did. It was fine. It was amazing.
It's kind of slow.
The Croc Theater is amazing. So
yeah.
So, anyways, we have a pretty bumping, vibing weekend as things were. We had the trip to the theater, and then we get invited to the 4th of July. Absolutely. See, Melissa, you at least got to help keep me on track here. How did we get into the mall trip?
Well, we went to the mall twice this weekend. I think that was right, because that's what you started with.
Neighbor. Pronunciation. Oh,
Elisa.
didn't need to talk to her. But the question, so now that we can get back to what you really want to talk about, which is this text from our neighbor. Do we like Mexican candy?
No, we don't.
Does anyone in our family like Mexican candy?
No.
It's a little bit of a bummer because I thought she was going to say Mexican food.
I read it as Mexican food.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
Total game changer.
Getting homemade tamales.
Oh my God.
It's fine.
Couple of things that our family was really banking on this summer for our summer activities, and 2 of the 3 have already happened. One was the English 4th of July barbecue. Banger.
Oh, yeah.
Just exceeded all expectations despite Steven's presence. I actually think that's the only way it could have been worse is if Steven wasn't there. Steven has the worst takes on things, and so we get pretty argumentative. Steven, after we argued about Bruno Mars for quite a bit. We argued about Paul George for quite a bit. And then as soon as we got home, I didn't tell you this, he texted me that he was watching Civil War and that Cap was wrong in Civil War, which is the worst take in history. Literally the movie that he's the good guy in the movie.
Yeah.
He is the moral compass in the movie.
You guys got really going about the basketball.
It was just about the basketball. We also played a game of 3-on-3 basketball, of which Steven and his brother, and that guy was a friend. I think it was the other guy.
I think it's a family friend.
Yeah.
I could have inquired.
Yeah. They beat us, but it was me, you, and Joel. So it was 3 grown men versus a grown man, a grown woman, and a 14-year-old boy. Who doesn't play basketball, by the way.
Plastic sandals on.
Yeah.
And Joel was barefoot.
Joel was barefoot. Any other sport we dominate in. Joel is a great athlete. He's not a strong basketball player. And frankly, neither am I.
Not at all.
And I'm going to post a video tomorrow, just a short little 3-second video of me making a shot and you charging for the rebound and then like clapping when I make the shot. It's so fun because it's so...
I'm like, I'm here.
It's 3 seconds that is so you, which is you're trying your hardest.
I'm hustling.
You're hustling. You're crashing the boards. You couldn't look less athletic doing it. I mean, impossible. You are a college runner. You are a collegiate athlete. You are you on the basketball court.
Ugh, it's rough.
You are a good runner. You're a good swimmer. You swing a tennis racket pretty well. You've got some skills.
I'm okay at tennis.
You've got some.
I can flip.
You can flip. You're a little gymnast. You're a pretty good
I can do a cheer.
Pretty good little volleyball player. Any of the ball-based sports aside from tennis that are done. I mean,
I got a little confident at the end. I made 2 of our 12 points.
You cost us the game. You did.
Well,
what you cost us the game. It was a game.
You were making all the points.
It was a game to 9 and
11.
It was a game to 11. The score was 9-9, and
it was not the time.
And you took to
take a bad shot.
You took a 12-footer, which is a pretty deep shot for you, and you were double covered. There were two people trying to block you.
It was bad.
It hit the side of the backboard.
It was bad.
Not the back. It hit the side of the backboard.
Yeah.
It was out of bounds. But you know what? As you said afterward, the English family needed that win more than we did.
Yeah, I think the brothers. It was good for them.
It was good bonding for the brothers.
Yep.
And you and I are on the out. You and I are on the outs, anyways. If you think that basketball win would have saved our marriage, then
I haven't played basketball in so long.
Yeah,
decades.
I hadn't told some of my new jokes in front of your mom in a while. That was fun last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seahog made it out to the show
Phoenix.
On Wednesday with a nice little group that was very nice. And there were a couple jokes. They're not dirty jokes. I'm a clean comedian. But talking about my marriage and stuff. And it was I think I told you at one point, just call it out. I was like, I just want you guys to know this is pretty uncomfortable because my mother-in-law is in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I got a big response.
Hilarious.
Everyone, they like when you peel back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
Your thoughts. I'd love an opinion from you on anything on this podcast.
I gave you some basketball content.
You did.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that. What, you got a half calf? You should have gotten full calf.
I did get a half calf.
Are you distracted by the delicious smell of pork in the air?
A little bit, yeah. I finally cooked this week. Yeah.
Well, there is an irony that when I'm home, you cook less. Because I feel like I'm more likely to be like, hey, let's just go get something. And you're like, deal.
Well, last week I taught, 11 art classes.
Right.
And then I was on Fiesta Island every morning, Monday through Friday. So that means I did not cook very much.
No.
If you're going to be out of the house 8:30 to 4.
You cooked up some art lessons? You did that?
Yeah. And then Joel also had football. Yeah, it was a lot.
Busy week. Busy summer. Summer break, not a break for parents. So one of the things was the English family barbecue. The second one was is the vacation, which is coming up.
That's our other big thing.
That's a big one. And the third one was baseball games. Want to go to the Padres. Padres are very good right now. And our little daughter fell in love with baseball. Did we talk about this already on the pod?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We went to the baseball game. We went to opening day Padres game, where was part of it. This all ties in to like the fireworks. Great fireworks show. And there are certain, this is all going to connect here. I just think at a certain point, you acknowledge, we talked about this at the barbecue, you acknowledge that you have probably seen the best fireworks show you're going to see. And, Melissa's rubbing her eye right now. Every time I try and get into a topic.
Okay, I'm here.
Mel,
I promise this time.
You didn't make it a full trip to La La Land there, but you were on the way. I have to keep dragging you back in.
Okay, so fireworks. Fireworks it is.
We're going to get to emails very early on in this because Melissa does perk up on the email because she likes hearing things from other people, but I'm just boring her right now. This is I'm having a tough crowd on my podcast that I do with my wife. I'm losing the attention of my co-host.
Well, it was hot out there.
How do you make I did
a hot hike.
Everything that you did, I did today.
I know, but you got that little rest after the camp
I napped, but I also took the kid. I got up at 6:30. I took the kid to camp today. Well, I took him to the church parking lot.
I know, but I was up at
midnight. And then we had to do small talk and a prayer for an hour. Oh my gosh. You asking too much. We had to get the kid. We had to drop them off at 7, which means 6:30. Melissa made a little, we had to grab the bag and she said, don't forget the pillow. Guess what we forgot? The pillow. But thankfully, I have a little pillow in my car because I'm 1,000 years old and I have a bad back. And that was right there. So he had that. So we're like, it's a lot. It's kind of disorganized. And we're like, oh, you're packing up and here's it. And it was like, okay, an hour of just making small talk with parents, which being up early is already hard for me. And then small talk. And then like a prayer and like an open-ended prayer, brutal. So I would say I did have the heart. Well, because I knew it would take a little bit. I know about camp drop-offs.
Yeah.
20 minutes in my mind. How long did you think it was going to be? Did you think it was going to be an hour?
So
when you allowed me to fall on the sword last night, how long did you think I was going to be there?
I have been prepping for these 3 kids to go to camp for weeks. I had to get on that online portal 4 times to finish the registration forms
right.
for Joel. I finished them last night on the way home from
See, this is what we have to talk to you, Melissa, back on the podcast. Get her worked up about forms.
I had to authorize the same form 5 times because it wasn't. I had to click and I didn't click. So then in the emails they said be there at 7. We're leaving at 8, so you can finish up the forms.
You never told me that, man. You never told me be there at 7. We're leaving at 8. I just didn't. That's my own fault.
Well,
I didn't know what I was getting into.
You should have signed up to do the Fiesta Island drop off.
No, because
that's about an hour.
Yeah, no regrets. It was a good time with Joel,
mm-hmm.
and I had some camp stories, and we had a nice little moment of bonding and such. But what I'm saying is that we were kind of the equal level tired because yes, I got a little sleep when I got home. But how were your nightmares last night? Mine, real bad. Whew. Whew. Even by my standards, I was like, "What is happening? Why are we? What are
the fireworks?"
The firework. I did want. Okay, so full circle, bring it back into the fireworks story. So, you just go, do I need to see any more fireworks? And I don't think I do because we have the Great St. George story, and fireworks will never be more magical than that. And then also, there's just times that you're at a theme park. You're like, well, this will be a good one because I'm at a theme park. Or in our case, Padres opening day. That show was incredible. And you were so close to it.
Mm-hmm.
We were 100 feet from where they were being launched.
I mean, we can hear the SeaWorks fireworks all summer.
Every night. Yeah.
It's 8:30.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just don't know that I need fireworks to be a part of my life anymore.
I know, but I guess maybe all the people below you still need them. Maybe that's when you know you're middle-aged.
I don't know where our children care about them.
Yeah. Well, when we left for Stevens and Dorothy's, they were like, can we bring friends? And we were like, no. And then they got there and they made friends and they never asked.
Great.
Right?
Yeah,
They didn't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And the fireworks, we could hear the fireworks.
Right.
And
I made friends too. Me and Steven rekindled.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they could see that we saw some fireworks in the distance.
We were like, oh my gosh, it's fireworks time, and they were like, yeah, we're doing night swimming.
Right?
What's better than that?
Yeah. What is your take right now on? This popped in my feed yesterday on the anti-fireworks take. I saw Sarah Silverman share it.
Okay.
That was the one that, and then enough of them kind of popped into my feed. I'm Hollywood adjacent. So that stuff kind of pops up. And Sarah Silverman said, something along the lines of I don't know how someone could learn how bad this affects dogs and veterans with PTSD and still be like, but I need my bang bangs.
Well, you made it more serious because I was going to say, well, you have to decide if you like children or dogs more. But the veterans, that's
a totally different thing.
I mean, we're supposed to be celebrating our freedom, and so therefore.
And I don't know. I mean, because if you went down, because I bet where you can find some pretty big. We're in a military town.
Yeah.
And a lot of fireworks happening in our military town.
Yeah, and even in our neighborhood.
Right.
We didn't have them last year,
I don't know any stats on this. We are purely speculating. I am sure there are a lot of veterans who have some big fireworks show. But that doesn't negate the fact that it affects folks with PTSD,
Right.
I don't know.
I think if you
logically that makes all the sense in the world.
Combat, I think a lot of people stay home.
Yeah. That would make sense.
But
and then the animals, anyone who's had an animal has experienced that.
We corralled our cats in.
Yeah.
Which thankfully we got them both in,
Yeah.
Before
I saw someone
we left.
Post a video of one that you can do with drones. It's a virtual one. It looks pretty amazing,
They do those at the Super Bowl. They have
lasers
light
and lights.
shows and stuff.
Yeah.
We definitely have the technology to
because it's the explosion that is the issue. It's not the lighting. It's not. I mean, you know, I mean, maybe could you do it with music? But then you can't see it from as far.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because it's all about the crowds too. Like, you know, you have more shows
Right.
because you can only park so many people,
Right.
and then they have to sit in traffic, and then it's a big sponsorship thing. You know, big companies
They're not
sponsor
cheap.
the fireworks.
And the city pays for some of them, right? Because one of them is through the city. I suppose you just do wonder at this point. Maybe this is a middle-aged thing where I'm like, what's the net positive on fireworks?
Well, if you are on any apps like Nextdoor, they go nuts. It goes nuts.
Oh, I'm sure
there.
Nextdoor hates fireworks.
Yes.
Well, there is
there's a big like gather your fur babies, and like
sure.
That's how Lake Murray's fireworks got canceled.
Right.
I mean, of course they needed funding, but everybody complained around the lake.
Right. This seems like a very simple solution, which is do them in designated areas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but they're always over the water.
Okay. So if people really want some fireworks and they feel like this is a celebration for New Year's or the 4th or whatever it may be, is there an area so move them. So do it in an area that isn't populated. Do it in an area. Do it over a big park. Do it up at the base. Do it in an area where there's not going to be animals, and folks who it might trigger some PTSD just can avoid it. Right? You can just avoid it.
I just don't think that you can find.
Like if you live in downtown San Diego, your house is there. You're probably going to avoid your house on New Year's Eve because you don't want to deal with all that riffraff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You're telling me you can't find any area.
Well, there's always wildlife. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the wildlife element. That's
true. The canyon.
True.
You're like, oh, but there's
you can't put up some signs to be like, hey, birds.
That's what the one that I saw was the birds.
Yeah.
That some of the moms get so distressed that they leave their babies and stuff. Then you're like, oh. Man,
this is not a very funny podcast right now. I'm sorry. But you know what? It's the first time that Melissa's been engaged. So that's not true. You did perk up a little bit.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. She's back, baby. But we do have more baseball games coming, and we can't wait. And we're very excited. And we're going to the kids-based one. And who knew it was going to come in but little Claire, who has almost zero interests in the entire world. Claire's interests are
staying home.
And playing with me. And then, and honestly, I think I took over your role this year. She's a big fan of me. Yeah. And so now attending baseball. Maybe she'll be like
the cheers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the teams. Mm-hmm. Which is surprising because she doesn't always like all, like a overstimulation of noises and sounds.
Yeah.
Like she actually didn't love the fireworks.
Yeah.
She thought they were too loud.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the one thing that she didn't care for. So there you go.
They scared her. So
Claire, well, the argument is settled.
Let's cancel the fireworks because they scare Claire.
You know what? Fireworks are canceled. Everything's canceled.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got to text our neighbor back. It's unrelated. What I was going to say was the designated time, again, send us your emails. We want to hear your take on this. And I'm all for learning about this, because to us, hasn't been a big deal. But I remember there have been a couple times in certain neighborhoods, you're like, all right, this is getting out of hand. And then also the, to me, like we're talking about like designated places, also designated times, like that's part of it, of just going like
do as many fireworks as you want. Well, first of all, they're supposed to be illegal.
They were going off in bed when we were like at 10, and Claire's like, is everything like when are these gonna stop? I got no answers for you.
It used to be really bad. Remember our house in
Linwood? We lived near an apartment complex.
They would do them in the street, the street that we had to drive.
That's
to
kind
our
of
house.
what it's like in apartment complexes. It's a little bit like a war zone.
Yeah, so many fireworks.
Yeah, but baby, you're a firework. That joke did pretty well yesterday. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, we're going to do a couple emails, and we would love for you to continue to shoot us some emails on this topic, on all our topics, what you're doing all this summer, all that kind of stuff. We've got lots of podcasts, You guys know we have so many topics, and one of the things that you guys keep sending in emails the most is like our ER stories And what have been some of the other topics? I feel like we're getting a lot of good stuff, but ER stories feels like the gift that just keeps giving.
Indeed. It's like maybe your concussion was worth it.
It might. Well, this one is from Alyssa right here, and this is subject ER stories. Parentheses, turkey baster, head scratcher, and staple, ... and chipmunk.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this is from Alyssa. Here we go. Hi there. Love your podcast. My husband and I listen often. First saw you at a John Chris show and thought you were funnier than everyone else there. Take that, John Chris. I added the take that, John Chris part.
Okay.
Anyways, my ER stories, I don't proofread these, so know that I
yeah.
I'm not saying it for that reason. But I'm going to keep it real with you people. I'm not going to take it out. Anyways, my ER story is mainly about my youngest daughter who has on 3 separate occasions swallowed a staple, poked herself in the throat with a turkey baster, and poked herself in the throat with the back of a handheld scratcher, all of which warranted an ER visit. She sounds like a magician, like a sword down the throat. Yeah.
Throat-based.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And yes, I do realize that all of this makes us sound like truly terrible parents, so I'll just go on record and say, it all happened so fast.
Yes.
We're good, well, at least decent parents. I also have a good story of an ER trip for myself after being bitten by my sister's boyfriend's pet chipmunk, which became a wild chipmunk after swinging my hand around until the chipmunk flew off, promptly flipped me the bird, and ran up a nearby tree. I may have embellished some. My main story was after the above-mentioned turkey baster incident. We initially took my daughter to the local urgent care, where we waited 4 hours to be seen, during which they started to shut down the clinic and found us in one of the rooms, told us they had forgotten about us, but there was still a doctor there, and she would be in shortly. This doctor was clearly in a rush, barely looked at my daughter's mouth, literally told me I must have imagined the blood, and left. We then went to the ER where they took x-rays, a CT scan, and told us her uvula?
I don't know.
Yeah, had been lacerated. It healed, and that we were right for bringing her in because if children get poked in a certain part of their throat, it can induce a stroke. Thank God that wasn't the case either time. Also, we have a lovely x-ray in her baby box of a perfect staple outline in her belly to commemorate the visit. That's all. Thanks for reading. Looking forward to many more fun podcasts from you guys, Alyssa and Sean.
Oh man, that's just a wild child, that just wants to swallow random objects.
Right. Sometimes you have kids that want to just shove a sharp object down their throat. Sometimes you have a kid that wants to hit their mom in their eye.
Bean up the nose, bug in the ear.
Which kid beaned up the nose?
That was me.
You beaned up the nose. That was last summer. Melissa's COVID summer was hard, and she just got bored, and she wanted to feel anything.
And I was like, what would this
anything at
what
all
would happen?
It's like, would I smell it? Would it get jam? Would it feel like I just had to blow my nose? And it was a garbanzo bean, too. It was, very circular.
Mushy.
It wasn't like a bean that would naturally fit up there. It was very circular. And
I had to flare my nostrils.
She did have to flare the nostrils out quite a bit, and the one is still much larger. It's stretched out. People don't know this, that the inside of the nose has very soft tissue, and one garbanzo.
People don't know that?
People don't know. It's very soft tissue. It stretches and stays. It's not like elastic. It stretches and kind of stays, like a t-shirt you sleep in. And it's the one is just, honestly, you guys, it's every picture I've posted of Melissa has been from years ago before. It's cartoonish. It really. Anyways, next email. This is from Corey, and subject is Dustin's favorite fourth. Just want to say thank you for shouting out my little hometown of St. George, Utah. Twice now on the pod, 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
I mentioned it again. I've loved this town, the people, and the surrounding area my whole life. Just waiting to have this town grow up a bit more so that we can begin enticing amazing headliners such as yourself to come and perform here. Now that I'm done the buttering, I can't wait to see St. George added to the tour dates. Thanks for the great show. Yeah, somebody reached out to me about a St. George today, and it wasn't enough money. I do a lot of
pretty far away.
It's pretty far away for that amount of money. If that amount of money would have been on a Wednesday I said
In
that.
La Mesa.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I said that at a gig I did this last week. That it was like, this is the type gig that I go, this is good Tuesday money.
Yeah, local Tuesday money.
Local Tuesday money.
Mhm.
Okay, last email right
Okay.
here.
All
And
right.
this one is from Cindy. And the subject is kids in Europe. Dustin, to weigh into your options of owning a house versus
Yes.
taking the kids to Europe. Okay, so this is for context. Melissa and I, a couple weeks ago,
Super random.
super random. I was telling you, like, their choices are to own a house or do a trip to Europe, which the economics on that do not line up at all.
Right. But just if you could have one or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can tell us.
She said, let me say that it might be more complicated than you think. That is a fair question. If you could take your kids on a vacation to Europe or own a house, you can't have both. Which one would you choose?
Right.
What would you choose?
Well, I said Europe.
You said Europe. I would say Europe too.
But
or did I say house then?
no, we both said Europe, but we would. We don't expect, normal people want to own homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what normal people are.
Normal.
Yeah.
In quotes.
I mean, what even is normal?
I mean, we can't go back to the new normal
And like,
or the old normal.
and like, who gets to define normal?
We can't go back.
Yeah. I mean, to you, I mean, you might look at someone and you're like, that's a normal. And I would be like, actually, that's abnormal.
That sounds like you and Steven's
That
debate.
was a stretch. That was a stretch. I mean, that was a garbanzo bean up the nose stretch. Let me say that it might be more complicated than you think. As part of the military, we rented 4 out of the 5 homes we've lived in. For us, it was great to be able to pick a house that would work for 3 years, then leave without the hassle of trying to sell.
No, about that.
You're right. Kids don't care whether you own or rent. But taking kids on a trip to Europe, maybe you're older too, but I wouldn't think Claire would have a magical time. We had friends. The mom was from Germany, so every 2 years they spent several weeks visiting her family, then traveling. Here are the highlights from their kids. They loved the hotel that had chickens and tomatoes. That is what they remembered about Venice. That the hotel had chickens and tomatoes.
Yeah, it's always something really random.
Oh, that is so funny. And when planning to visit a new place, the kids whine, it's not going to be another Paris, is it?
It's the second Paris.
Clearly, they were not impressed. So maybe take that hypothetical trip without your kids, because I don't think they'll care about that either. I mean, some fair points.
Some wisdom.
Some really fair points there.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken and tomatoes. All right, guys. Send us your emails at dontmakemecomebackthere@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being great backseaters. We really appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Yep. Bye.
Hey, folks, want to give a special shout out to our Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up tier. That list is Averill Griffiths, Jessica Sewell, Rachel Kennedy, Code to Grow, Dave Hoagland, Demarius Diaz-Stevens, Nicole Carraz, Tiffany Payne, Farrah Journey, David and Melissa Cox, Isaac Taryn, Lori Amos, Carrie Teague, The Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary, Jordan Cowan, Courtney Eibling, Juliana Smith, Bonnie Galliando, and Jennifer Ashley Downs. Thank you guys so much for what you give to the pod.